Today we're going to dive into my favorite cyberpunk style worlds in video games. Let's get started. Quick public service announcement before we get started. I'm purposely leaving out Cyberpunk 2077. It's so popular and everybody knows about it. I kind of wanted to make the point of this video to show you cyberpunk worlds that you may have not heard about. It's an obvious choice. If you haven't seen it, let me know in the comments section below, and I'll be sure to make a special episode just for you. But Blade Runner, when that came out, with Harrison Ford, that was like chef's kiss. That's exactly what I was envisioning before seeing the movie. And it's just coincidence that Blade Runner, I have it here somewhere, Blade Runner is the first game I'm going to mention. It's set in the iconic dystopian world of Ridley Scott Blade Runner film. This game thrusts players into the neon-lit streets of Los Angeles in 2019, where they take on the role of Ray McCoy, a rookie Blade Runner tasked with hunting down rogue replicants. The cyberpunk setting in Blade Runner Enhanced Edition embodies the quintessential elements of the genre, while remaining deeply rooted in the atmospheric world established by Ridley Scott's 1982 film. The cityscape serves as both a homage to the film's aesthetic and a benchmark for a cyberpunk worlds in general. Neon-drenched streets, constant rain and moodiness, densely populated and diverse, and technological overload versus the human struggle. Here's another game that you just don't hear a lot about, and it literally has the word punk in the title, and that's Cloudpunk. Another cyberpunk-inspired game where in this one, you actually get to see the entire city, all the skyscrapers, as you're flying or driving your own cyber car, not truck, through the cities. Cloudpunk is a neon noir cyberpunk delivery adventure, a narrative-driven exploration game set in the sprawling, rain-soaked city of Nivalis. Players take on the role of Rainier, a courier for the semi-legal delivery company Cloudpunk, transporting mysterious packages across the vertical metropolis in a flying vehicle. The game focuses on world building, character-driven storytelling, and atmospheric immersion rather than combat or traditional RPG mechanics. Are you asking yourself how Cloudpunk embodies the cyberpunk style? Well, I'm glad you asked. Neon-lit dystopian megacity, Nivalis is a towering cyberpunk metropolis filled with holograms, neon lights, and dark alleys, reminiscent of, you guessed it, Blade Runner and Cyberpunk 2077. AI, androids, and corporate oppression, the game explores classic cyberpunk themes featuring sentient AI, androids struggling for rights, and ruthless megacorporations controlling society. Player-driven narrative choices. Similar to Cyberpunk 2077, players can make moral decisions that impact their interactions and fate of NPCs, though the game is more focused on storytelling than branching RPG mechanics. Atmospheric exploration over combat. Unlike many Cyberpunk games that emphasize action, Cloudpunk takes a heavy lean into the noir side of the genre, offering a slow burn, storytelling, ambient music, and a meditative experience flying through the city's neon skyline.
To make an impression.
It's not easy to break out in Nivalis, kid. Making it here is like trying to paint on the surface of a river.
There are just so many cyberpunk-inspired worlds out there. And another one that I rarely see anything about or hear anybody mention is Ruiner. This definitely is up there with some of my favorite cyberpunk worlds. Ruiner is a brutal cyberpunk action thriller. A top-down action game set in a dark, dystopian cyberpunk future where players take on the role of a silent protagonist, a masked anti-hero on a mission to rescue his kidnapped brother. Developed by Raycon Games, the title combines fast-paced, skill-based combat with a striking neon aesthetic and a sinister narrative driven by corporate greed and technological manipulation. The game is set in Renkok, a grim cyberpunk city filled with neon lights, sprawling industrial complexes, and high-tech yet decayed environments, evoking that gritty atmosphere of Blade Runner. Of course, no cyberpunk game would be complete without corporate corruption and AI intrigue. At the heart of the narrative lies a powerful megacorporation, Heaven, controlling society with sinister motives, a common theme in all of our cyberpunk media these days. The protagonist uses cybernetic implants and hacking abilities to fight enemies, manipulate technology, and survive in a tech-saturated world, reinforcing the genre's focus on human-machine integration. Hyperviolence and style. Ruiner stands out with its brutal, adrenaline-fueled combat, combining melee weapons, guns, and abilities like teleportation and energy drinks, delivering a visceral cyberpunk experience. And yes, we can't forget its synthwave soundtrack. The game's pulsing electronic score enhances its cyberpunk vibe, amplifying the tension and futuristic atmosphere. In a similar vein to Ruiner is another game I barely hear about or I barely see anybody mention, and that's the Ascent. The Ascent is an isometric action RPG set in a sprawling, you guessed it, dystopian cyberpunk world where players take on the role of an indentured worker. After the collapse of the Ascent group, a massive corporation controlling the towering arcology where the game takes place, players must navigate the chaos of warring factions, corporate conspiracies, and gang violence while uncovering the mystery behind the corporation's downfall. Neon-drenched megacity. The game's arcology is a quintessential, that's the hot word of the day, cyberpunk setting, a layered and dense vertical city filled with neon lights, holograms, and dark alleys teeming with life. Right on script, corporate collapse and chaos. True to the cyberpunk genre, the story revolves around the aftermath of a megacorporation's fall, with factions and gangs vying for power in the absence of centralized control. Players can augment their characters with cybernetic upgrades, from advanced hacking tools to combat enhancements, a staple of cyberpunk themes exploring human-machine integration. Diverse inhabitants and futuristic cultures, the world is populated by humans, androids, and alien species, all contributing to a rich, diverse take on cyberpunk's multicultural and multi-species dystopia. This game combines fast-paced, twin-stick shooting with RPG elements like skill upgrades, weapon mods, and loot. The Ascent blends cyberpunk aesthetics with awesome, engaging gameplay. Atmospheric details, from rain-soaked streets to towering industrial complexes, the game's visuals and sound design create an immersive cyberpunk ambience. And next, we have Dex. Dex is a 2D side-scrolling action RPG set in a neon-lit cyberpunk city, where players take on the role of Dex, a wanted fugitive with mysterious abilities. As she navigates a world of megacorporations, hackers, and underground resistance groups, Players can engage in open-ended gameplay, making choices that shape the story and uncovering secrets about Dex's origins. Dystopian, neon-lit cityscapes. Set in the corrupt city of Harbor Prime, Dex captures the gritty, rain-soaked streets and neon glow aesthetics synonymous with cyberpunk worlds like none other than Blade Runner. Hacking and cyber warfare. A core gameplay feature allows players to enter cyberspace, hacking into systems, bypassing security, and fighting virtual threats, reflecting cyberpunk's theme of digital resistance. Augmentations and upgrades. Players can enhance Dex with cybernetic implants, improving abilities like stealth, combat, and hacking. Key cyberpunk elements that explore the fusion of man and machine. Choice-driven narrative. The game offers branching dialogue and moral decisions, allowing players to align with different factions and shape the outcome of the story. Noir-style conspiracies. The game revolves around a web of corporate intrigue, rogue AIs, and underground movements, delivering a cyberpunk narrative filled with mystery and rebellion. This game also has a mix of combat and stealth, with real-time melee and gunplay, plus the option to sneak past enemies. Dex gives players flexibility in how they tackle challenges, adding depth to its cyberpunk RPG experience.
Hey, it's you. Rolling back up for some more of the same.
Alright guys, we're halfway through. I hope you guys are still enjoying this video, and if you are, I would really appreciate it if you could like this video. It's literally a free way to help my channel grow. Here's a game that I thought probably everybody knows about, and that is of course Stray. Stray is a unique third-person adventure game set in a beautifully realized cyberpunk world, where players control a stray cat navigating a neon-lit dystopian city inhabited by robots. Lost and separated from its family, the cat must uncover the secrets of this forgotten metropolis with the help of a small drone companion, B12. The game focuses on exploration, puzzle solving, and atmospheric storytelling, offering a fresh take on the cyberpunk genre. The game's world features a dense urban environment filled with glowing signs, rain-soaked alleys, and towering megastructures, reminiscent of Blade Runner, absence of humanity, and AI-driven society. However, unlike traditional cyberpunk stories about human augmentation, Stray presents a world where its humanity has seemingly disappeared, leaving behind an AI-driven society of humanoid robots struggling to find meaning. The city is tightly controlled by an authoritarian surveillance system, with hostile security drones and environmental hazards mirroring cyberpunk's themes of societal oppression and rebellion. There's technological companionship. The cat's partnership with B12, a sentient AI drone, reflects cyberpunk's exploration of artificial intelligence and its role in a post-human world. Like Cyberpunk 2077, Stray encourages players to uncover hidden truths about the city's past through environmental storytelling and interactions with robotic inhabitants. Instead of a cybernetically enhanced hero, Stray shifts the perspective to an ordinary animal in an extraordinary cyberpunk setting, making it a refreshing twist on the genre. Moving into what quite possibly might be one of the most obscure cyberpunk themed and / inspired games is Ascent, a cyberpunk ghost story. It's a side-scrolling horror adventure that uniquely blends cyberpunk aesthetics with supernatural horror. Set in the futuristic city of Neo Hong Kong in 2083, players control Mylene Mack, a young woman who becomes entangled in a mystery filled with spirits, haunted technology, and ancient curses. The game takes inspiration from classic survival horror titles while maintaining a strong cyberpunk atmosphere. You can't have a cyberpunk atmosphere without neon-drenched dystopian Hong Kong. The game's setting features towering skyscrapers, holographic advertisements, and a bustling metropolis filled with cybernetic enhancements, evoking the cyberpunk aesthetic seen in Ghost in the Shell and Blade Runner. Technology meets the supernatural. Unlike traditional cyberpunk narratives that focus on AI incorporation, Sense introduces horror elements exploring how technology and digital consciousness can intersect with ancient spirits and folklore. Augmented reality and cybernetic enhancements, Mai's cybernetic implants, allows her to perceive supernatural occurrences, merging cyberpunk's theme of human augmentation with the eerie presence of ghosts. Like Cyberpunk 2077, Sense features a deep narrative involving hidden truths, corporate secrets, and the struggle between traditional and technological progress. The game's detailed 2D art style captures the neon-lit streets, holographic overlays, and atmospheric tension characteristic of the cyberpunk worlds. Instead of action-packed gameplay, Sense focuses on slow, methodical exploration, much like cyberpunk adventure games, while incorporating horror-inspired puzzle solving. It's one of my favorite games released in 2024. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to it right about here. And that is, of course, Neon Blood, which I have backwards. I apologize. Neon Blood is a narrative-driven adventure game that combines pixel art aesthetics with a cyberpunk setting. Set in the not-so-distant 2053, the game explores themes of social inequality within sprawling city of Viridius, divided into the opulent Bright City and the impoverished Blind City. Players assume the role of Axel McCoy, an idealistic detective who becomes a pivotal figure in a revolution aimed at challenging the corrupt societal structure. Neon Blood exemplifies a classic cyberpunk metropolis featuring neon-lit streets, towering skyscrapers, and a stark contrast between wealth and poverty. The game's narrative delves into the disparities between the affluent and the destitute, highlighting systematic corruption and the fight against oppressive power structures, central themes in cyberpunk literature and media. While specific details about cybernetic enhancements or advanced technology are limited, the game's visual design incorporates elements typical of the cyberpunk genre, such as holographic displays and futuristic cityscapes. Neon Blood offers a blend of exploration and strategic turn-based combat, allowing players to navigate the complex urban environment and engage in battles that require thoughtful planning. The game features a distinctive combination of 2D hand-drawn pixel art and detailed 3D environments, creating a visually engaging experience that complements its cyberpunk narrative. Not a lot of people have heard of ANNO Mutationem. ANNO Mutationem is a visually striking action RPG that blends pixel art with 3D environments, creating a distinctive cyberpunk aesthetic. The game follows Anne Flores, a skilled fighter on a personal mission through a neon-lit dystopian city filled with underground conspiracies, megacorporations, and cybernetic intrigue. You get augmentations and tech-driven society. Cybernetic enhancements and advanced AI play a crucial role, reinforcing the theme of humanity blending with technology. Conspiracies and corporate control, all of which a hallmark of cyberpunk storytelling. The game's narrative weaves intrigue, power struggles, and hidden agendas. Unlike traditional cyberpunk RPGs, ANNO Mutationem features a mix of side-scrolling action combat and free exploration in 3D, offering a unique gameplay twist. Raise your hand if you have heard of VirtuaVerse. VirtuaVerse is a pixel art cyberpunk adventure game that blends traditional point-and-click mechanics with a deep dystopian narrative. Players control Nathan, a rogue technologist living in a future dominated by all-encompassing AI-driven virtual reality network. When his girlfriend disappears, Nathan is forced to navigate an underground world of hackers, crypto-anarchists, and digital outcasts to uncover the truth. Dystopian future with corporate control. The game's world is ruled by a centralized AI system that dictates society's every move. A classic cyberpunk theme, hacking and digital resistance. Nathan uses his custom-made visor to switch between augmented reality and the real world, uncovering hidden clues, hacking into systems, and bypassing digital security. Pixel art cyberpunk aesthetic with vibrant neon city skyscrapes, dark alleys, and high-tech hideouts. The game's detailed pixel art design captures the essence of cyberpunk's gritty, neon-drenched atmosphere. Underground subcultures and rebellion. The game features hackers, cyber gangs, and anti-corporate factions fighting against the AI-controlled system, reinforcing cyberpunk's themes of rebellion against authoritarian control. VirtuaVerse explores the impact of AI, virtual reality, and transhumanism, offering a deep, thought-provoking narrative. It also has classic point-and-click gameplay. Unlike action-heavy cyberpunk games like Cyberpunk 2077, VirtuaVerse delivers its world through exploration, puzzle solving, and dialogue. Earlier I mentioned Blade Runner, and in Blade Runner there's an actor in the movie, Rutger Hauer, and we're gonna go full circle now because guess what? He's back. He's back in another cyberpunk style world, and it's called Observer. Is a narrative-driven psychological horror game set in a dystopian cyberpunk future. Players take on the role of Daniel Lazarski, a neural detective known as an observer, who can hack into people's minds to uncover hidden memories. Set in a bleak 2084, where a megacorporation rules society after a digital plague wiped out much of humanity, Observer blends cyberpunk aesthetics with psychological horror, creating a tense and immersive experience. The world of Observer is a grim, corporate-controlled society filled with dimly lit corridors, neon holograms, and decaying technology, reminiscent of Blade Runner. As an observer, Lazarski uses cybernetic implants to hack into the minds of the dead and dying, a cyberpunk twist on crime solving that explores the fusion of technology and human consciousness. The world is ruled by the megacorporation Chirog, enforcing strict control over citizens while the lower class suffers in rundown tenement buildings, reflecting a cyberpunk's themes of class disparity and technological dependence. Instead of traditional hacking mechanics, Observer plunges players into fragmented, nightmarish digital landscapes when accessing people's memories, creating a distorted cyberpace. Like Cyberpunk 2077, the game is heavily inspired by cyberpunk noir, featuring a detective protagonist, conspiracies, and philosophical themes about identity, technology, and human corporation. Unlike most cyberpunk games, Observer leans into horror, showcasing how technology can twist minds, erase memories, and manipulate perception, making it a chilling take on the genre. There you have it, folks. That's my list of my personal favorite cyberpunk-inspired video game worlds. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, would love it if you hit the like button. Definitely consider subscribing. Would really mean a lot to me and the channel. And don't forget to leave in the comments below which one was your favorite. And if there's a game that's not on my list that you guys think I should have had on my list, would love to hear your feedback on that. And of course, before I go, here's one more shameful plug of a playlist where I hope you guys would consider watching. Thanks for watching. See you next time.